Welcome. I'll get started in just a bit, but we'll wait and see if some folks are still logging on and chiming in. But grateful for this community, grateful for you joining me here, and whether you're joining live or watching a recording later, if you could chime in, I'm always curious to know where people are joining from. And so if you'd like to do that as we wait just another minute before we get started, I am in the Madison, Wisconsin area here in the US. Just so grateful for this community. So thanks so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Tim Fortescue, an IFS trained practitioner specializing in spiritual growth and healing. Experience religious trauma or seeking guidance on your journey. I'm here as an ally to support and want to do that however it makes sense for you. You can find out more about me by visiting my website, faithfullygrowing.com. As we go throughout our time today, feel free to put questions that you have in the chat, and I'll do my best to engage with those at the end of the time. And if you're watching a recording of this, go ahead and type your questions into, and I'll see if I can respond back to those questions and engage with you there. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel just so you can know when I go live, when I post new content. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, if you look at the notes that accompany this video at the bottom, there's a link to a Facebook group where you can join me and we can continue the conversation there. And then finally, before I jump into just a little content, we're going to talk about polarizations in IFS today, and I'm going to lead you in a meditation. But if you have the capacity to donate, I have a nonprofit aspect of my coaching practice, and a big passion of mine is helping IFS get to all and to those who normally don't have access to it. And so if you have the capacity and would like to donate, you can visit faithfullygrowing.com/donate, and those donations are tax deductible. Okay, today we're going to talk about polarizations in IFS just a bit. So before I jump into the meditation, let me give you some insight into polarizations, and then I'll lead you in a meditation to help you connect with some of those parts that may be polarized. For those of you who are familiar with IFS, you know that IFS views the mind as a system of qualities that shape our thoughts and behaviors. Among these parts lead to polarizations. In our world too, there are polarizations externally just like they are internally, and these cause, in the case of our internal world, inner tension. And when we recognize these internal conflicts, it's key in our personal growth, and we can begin to heal. And IFS provides a structure and approach to address polarizations by understanding each part's intentions and fostering harmony among them. And the process involves identifying conflicting parts, and that's what we're going to experiment a little bit with today, and separating the self, who we are at our core, from these parts, and facilitating dialogue between them and negotiating new relationships. And this understanding offers a unique perspective on our internal complexities. And I have a quick reference guide that I use when I'm in session with clients. And I have here in the corner just the idea of these polarizations, those protectors, and then those little ones, those exiles beneath us. And they tend to form a triangle. But these protective parts are often polarized. And in the midst of all that, if we can connect more with ourself, healing can happen. If you're a practitioner, if you would like a PDF of something like this, send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com, and I'm glad to send you a PDF of this. But let's get into our meditation. And as we begin, just settle in, find a quiet and comfortable place to sit down or lie down. Just take a few deep breaths to center yourself and your system. You can close your eyes if you'd like to, but if you'd rather just let your gaze rest softly in front of you, it's perfectly fine. And begin by bringing your attention to your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand. And exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension. Repeat this for a couple cycles of breaths until you begin to feel maybe just a little more centered, grounded. And as you continue to settle into this meditation, it may be helpful to set the intention to connect with any polarized parts of yourself that may be on one side of the other. And I will lead you in some prompts to help facilitate that. And these may be conflicting thoughts, emotions, or aspects of your personality. And approach this exploration with curiosity and compassion. As you continue to check in with your internal world and system, just take a moment and scan your body of any areas of tension or discomfort. Notice any sensations without judgment. Just allow them to be as they are. Just see if you can breathe some of this calmness and curiosity, compassion into your system and all your parts. Just inviting relaxation and ease for just a bit. May be helpful to visualize a calm and centered space within yourself. Maybe a peaceful garden, quiet room. Any place that feels safe and grounding for you. And as you enter this space, sense the stillness and peace that resides here. Now bring your attention back to those polarized parts again, with the intention of connecting with them. So maybe you're triggered by a conversation, something that has happened already, something that's coming up. Just allow images, thoughts, or feelings associated around these specific trailheads or conflicting aspects of yourself to arise. And realize that these thoughts and feelings are your parts. You may sense a part that feels anxious and another that feels more calm, or a part that is critical, and another one just wants to play. And the critics can often be triggered by that part. We're not going to get anything done if this part goes and plays. And just begin a gentle internal dialogue with these parts. And often there's usually one on the one side that's very loud, voicing itself. Maybe turn to it. See if it has a couple things to voice and let it know we'll come back to it. But see if it could soften back and maybe hear of the other side of the story or the polarization. And just turn to this part that maybe doesn't get a voice or as much voice as it wants, and let it know that you see it. Where do you notice it in or around your body? Maybe it's a sensation. Maybe it's an emotional feeling, sadness, shame, fear. Or maybe you're re-experiencing a situation, and that's how you know that it's present, because of these thoughts that are coming up. Just settle in and sense where you notice this part. And the point of this is to get us out of our head into our heart a little bit. So just see where you sense this part. Maybe it's a visual. Maybe it's on that side of the room. Just notice where it is, where you sense it. How do you feel toward it? Are you feeling that sense of curiosity? Even just a drop? If you can, let the part know that. Know if you're feeling something other than calmness, curiosity is likely another part. Could be this part on the other side trying to voice itself. So be aware of that and just see if any of those parts could soften back. And then turn back to the part that maybe doesn't get a voice as much and let it know we're just going to ask it one question. It can share as much or as little as it wants, or it can just be with us. Just pause, turn toward that part. Don't even ask it a question. Just say, I'm here. And just see if there's anything that it wants to voice or share. What do you want to share with this part? Anything you want to say to it? Just see how this part is responding. How is it for it to get some attention? It may have been a while. Let it know that this doesn't have to be the last time. We just wanted to see it, let it know that we're here for now. But if it's like spending time with you and it feels right, let it know that it can have more time in the future. And maybe let it know when you can connect with it. Thank this part for its courage, for as much or as little as it's shared. And let it know that it's welcome. It's a part of the center team. When it feels right, turn your attention to the other side, to that part that may be quick to have a voice. Just turn to that part. See where you notice it in or around your body. And how do you feel toward it? See if you can extend it some of that same curiosity that you did this other part that's still witnessing and looking on if it wants to. And be aware that if it's something other than that compassion, curiosity, a sense of connectedness, it's likely another part that may need to soften back. And just witness, see if it could do that. Let all your parts know they can have a chance too at some point, that you're not going to forget about them. But turn to this part. And again, we're not going to hang out very long, ask a lot of questions, but we just want it to know that we see it and see if it saw the interaction on the other side. How was that for it? And let it know it's part of an inner team. It's not alone. That you want to give it a little attention. And you're here. See what that part may want to share. And what do you want to share with it? Just see if there's anything else before we begin to wrap up here that this part wants to voice. See if it's like spending time with you. If it has, let it know that you'd like to spend more time with it and let it know when. Just thank it for its courage, for as much or as little as it's shared. And just see if both of these parts that may have been on opposite sides, if they are aware of one another, see if they want to come a little closer. They're on the same team. There's probably a little one underneath that they're doing the best they can to protect, but they're not alone. They've got you. They've got resources like this. There's a broader system here. See if they can take that in. Then when it feels right for now, bring your awareness back to your breath, in the present moment. Just take a couple breaths at your own pace as you come back. Inhale and exhale. Maybe you want to wiggle your fingers and toes. You can open your eyes if they were closed. And continue about your day and see if you can bring some of this more spaciousness, this self-energy to your external relationships. And remember that this meditation is a process of self-discovery and healing. And be patient and compassionate with yourself. I know it's hard for me to do that sometimes. But just continue to explore the dynamics of your internal family and join me here. Normally, I do this on Tuesdays at this time. Today, there was a little scheduling difference. But if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can engage for a bit with those. If you're watching the recording, go ahead and put your questions in too, and I will see if I can engage with you there. If you have the capacity to head over to the website and faithfullygrowing.com/donate, I have a nonprofit aspect of my business and practice that helps keep IFS coaching available to all. And if you know some folks who may need some support, have them reach out and book a consult, and we'll see if we can work together. If you're a therapist or IFS practitioner, I have this cheat sheet that I use when I'm working with folks that puts the principles of IFS on one page. If you'd like to have a PDF of that, I'm glad to share it with you. Send me an email, tim@faithfullygrowing.com. Grateful for the thumbs up and just grateful for this community. I'll hang around for just a bit. Would love to know where you're joining from. If you're chiming in now live, and if you are doing the recording, let me know where you're joining from too. I'm here in the US in the Madison, Wisconsin area. All right. Well, grateful for this time, for this community. Join me next week on Tuesday, same time, and share this with others who you think may benefit too. But grateful. Go out and have a great week and weekend. Stay curious if you can, and let's all try to be gentle with ourselves and with the world. All right, take care. Thank you.